following flooding with a further yellow warning for rain in place today. Train services in Bournemouth are suffering large disruptions. AFC Bournemouth's owner acquires full stake in Lorient. And Q Sports Bar expands to add an events room and designated darts room. Iford Golf Centre in Christchurch has been forced to completely close due to the recent heavy rainfall. Finn Payne went to investigate.
The floods cover almost the entirety of both courses at Iford. The River Stour is the cause of this, which sits just next to the courses. The river had been rising due to the recent rainfall, and nearby Iford Bridge Home Park was evacuated on Wednesday due to the danger to life flood warning. Flooding like this is common here at Iford due to heavy rain in the area. A worker we just spoke to who expressed anonymity said this is the worst flooding he's seen at the course in the 4 years that he's worked here. It's unknown what date the course will reopen, but I'm sure it will still be in use. Finn Payne, Buzz News, Christchurch.
Iford Golf Centre have since released a statement on social media saying that the driving range and bar at the club opened again at 2 p.m. today, but the course will remain closed for now due to the water levels. Over to our news presenter Luke Hills for more information on the flooding.
Flood warnings continue across the southwest, with areas including Iford Bridge, Home Park still experiencing rising river levels. Grace Okids has a story.
Residents at Iford Bridge Home Park near Christchurch have been evacuated due to flooding. Emergency services and staff from BCP Council have been helping bring those to safety. The widespread flooding this week was driven by swollen rivers, rising groundwater and exceptional rainfall. The Environment Agency has warned the public to remain vigilant to the risk of a continuation of the floods.
Residents here have been evacuated after Storm Chandra has caused the River Stour banks to burst, with more heavy rain expected today. A severe flood warning has been issued, meaning a danger to life. Another 25 millimetres of rain is expected to fall, with a yellow alert active from 12 p.m. today until 3 a.m. tomorrow across Cornwall, Devon, Dorset, Somerset and Wiltshire. As you can see behind me, the river levels are extremely high, and if you look to the left of me, the river banks are still very much burst. Grace Okins, Buzz News, Iford.
In the wake of Storm Chandra, floodplains are likely to remain waterlogged. Max Reynolds has been keeping an eye on the forecast over the next 48 hours.
A quick update on the weather from this morning. With the people just starting to recover from evacuation from the first storm, Dorset is set to be hit by another one today that has already started in the Exeter region. This storm is supposed to last until 3 a.m. on Friday, but intel from the Met Office shows that this might continue on all weekend. With this bringing floods and dangers whilst driving, Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue advise people to only make necessary journeys and stay safe whilst driving. And to remember, always take a brolly wherever you go. Follow along for updates on the weather later this evening.
4 fire stations are at risk of closure in Dorset. They are Hamworthy, Cranbourne, Charmouth and Maiden Newman. Dorset and Wiltshire Fire Rescue has announced this news last week. Grace Kehoe has their official statement.
Chief Fire Officer Andy Cole said, "As with many public sector organisations, Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service continues to face financial challenges. Despite our attempts to lobby governments for better funding, this financial pressure reflects a long-term reduction in central government funding for the fire and rescue services. Combined with rising costs that sit largely outside our control, we must find ways to address the forecast deficits and ensure we are sustainable in the future. Whilst no decision is being made on any proposal for closure until the Fire Authority meeting on the 30th of June, my focus is now on supporting staff through the uncertain months ahead. I want to recognise the professionalism, pride and commitment shown by firefighters across the service."
Buzz News spoke to Barney Hedgecock, the Fairness and Work Rep for Dorset and Wiltshire Fire Service, in an exclusive interview. He went into more detail about the potential impact that closing down fire stations could have on the staff.
It's not just the closure of stations, it's the removal of firefighter posts and fire appliances. So the service, if all 8 stations were to close, we're looking at 96 firefighter positions lost and 15 pumping appliances removed from the front line.
Train services from Bournemouth and Poole are suffering major disruptions ahead of the weekend. Passengers travelling on South Western Railway lines from Poole towards London are being advised to check their journeys prior to travelling. Our reporter Sam McShane has the story.
Here at Bournemouth Station, train services are suffering significant delays ahead of the weekend. South Western Railway is carrying out engineering work across the network after issues with their signalling system. Passengers travelling to London from Poole and Bournemouth today are being advised to check their journeys. Rail replacement buses like the one behind me are taking passengers to their destinations, but delays are carrying on throughout the day. All lines are blocked and there is growing frustration for residents affected around the area.
I'm supposed to go and pick up a car up from Pychester to Oxford and they take it to Birmingham, so it has an impact on me today.
I have a lunch engagement in London and I should have been there at just after 12. And now I don't know when I'll be there.
Railway staff are helping to direct passengers on the best route possible to reach their destination, but disruptions to long-haul journeys have proven more costly.
Well, I had a connection at King's Cross to go to Scotland and I won't make it now, so I've given up for the day. Yeah, so that's it.
Updates from South Western Railway will follow over the coming days, with passengers hoping they can travel once again. Sam McShane, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
Classical music. Old and boring, right? But Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra are making sure that the classics are accessible to people of all ages. They run events where primary school children can explore the orchestra instruments and classical musicians like Beethoven and Mozart. Grace Kehoe has a mic drop.
This is the Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra. Sub-principal and number 4 double bass Mike Chaffin told me what life in an orchestra feels like.
It's almost like a spa day. It's just a way of refreshing yourself, just, being able to take in like the lovely elixirs of Mozart and Beethoven and reset.
The Bournemouth Orchestra runs events with Key Stage 2 primary school children to get them into classics. Mike told me how this can kickstart possible music careers.
I think it's important that we make sure that all of the kids know that it is accessible one way or another. But it's also important because I think if you ask just about anybody in the orchestra, they will have some memory as a child, probably primary school age, of music and getting into music, and that being the spark of what turned into a long career for them.
Emily Davis, who played in the London Philharmonia Orchestra for 20 years, told me why music is important to her family, especially her daughter.
I know for her, music has been incredible. It's given her a confidence and sense of perspective that I don't think she would have had she not had all the musical experiences she's had.
Grace Kehoe, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
That's all for your news roundup. Now passing over to the sports news.
Hello, I'm Greg Masding and this is your sports news. AFC Bournemouth owner Bill Foley's Black Knight Football Group have announced that they are now the sole owners of French League side Lorient. Foley's Black Knight had previously been minority stakeholders in the club, owning 40% of the French side, but now they have taken over the remaining 60%. Bournemouth owner Bill Foley stated the club are delighted to take the next step with FC Lorient in the year they celebrate their centenary. The clubs currently sit in 9th place in France's top division. Foley bought his original stake in Lorient in January 2023, leading to Lorient becoming sister club of Bournemouth. Dango Ouattara was the first to move between the clubs before being sold for £42.5 million this summer. Junior Krupi has been the latest successful transition, the teenager lighting up the Premier League with 7 goals already this season. The flooding could cause further disruption to local non-league football. Several clubs have been left concerned about their games going ahead, including Bashley and New Milton. More fixtures being postponed will create fixture congestion later in the season, which could lead to more injuries and affect performances. Storm Chandra has shown how vulnerable grassroots football can be to extreme weather. Further confirmation on affected fixtures will be announced closer to the weekend. In Boscombe, there is a sports bar renovating to accommodate young people partaking in sports. Zach Walker reports.
With up-and-coming sports such as darts and pool, Q-Bar spoke on how they adapt with the times.
I think before we opened in February this year, or February last year now, as Q Sports Bar. Before that, it was a different club. It was called Spectrum. So we're new owners. This is a new business as such. and our emphasis is to make a more modern, sleek club where people can come and play pool in a more modern and young environment. And that's obviously inclusive for students and young people as well.
The plan is to change the snooker room into a darts room, where they can host tournaments for students, as they said snooker is an ageing sport, in hope that young rising darts players will play there and rise the interest in the sport in the local area. Zach Walker, Buzz News, Boscombe.
Dorset-based walking football team, Dexter Sports, has increased in numbers over the past few years, particularly among those who have lost loved ones and are maintaining their mental health. Benji Sampson went along to the club as they celebrate their 10-year anniversary.
Dexter Sports FC are celebrating 10 years of their walking football team. Walking football is a slower paced version of the game, where running is banned. This makes it accessible, social and ideal for older players or those with limited mobility. Paul Kybert explains how he started playing for Dexter Sports FC.
Well, I personally started the club about exactly 10 years ago. I'd finished coaching my son's age groups, and I coached ability counts football. That came to an end, so I was looking for something else to do and saw an advert on TV. It was a Barclays Bank advert featuring some older guys playing walking football, and I thought I'd give that a go. So I put a few flyers out in local free newspapers and what have you, and on notice boards, and got a response from that. About a dozen people turned up, and then it's just grown from there to, like I say, over 60 new members.
Walking football has been endorsed by the FA to help encourage activity in people of all abilities as a low-impact sport. The sport helps people with limited mobility stay active by offering a safe, inclusive way to exercise and enjoy football.
Well, one of the guys today, Terry, who's the coach of the 65s team, he's just had a hip replacement. So he was out here today. I think he had his hip replacement less than 2 months ago, and he's back out playing football. And one of the other guys has had a knee replacement. So for those sort of injuries or replacements and operations, it's great to get back out and get going. Yeah, any conditions, if you want to lose a bit of weight and keep moving, it's great for that. And it's at a much slower pace and much gentler pace. There's no physical tackling or whatever, so less likelihood of injuries in that sense, and like you say, opportunity to regain fitness and carry on playing football.
With interest rapidly growing among the population, it remains a matter of time until we see more and more walking football in our communities. Benji Sampson, Buzz News, Poole.
The Project Climbing Centre in Poole are gearing up to host their biggest competition yet. Olivia Pagden went along to find out more.
60 new routes, final checks and plenty of chalk. Inside the Project Climbing Centre in Poole, preparations are well underway. Coming up in February, climbers from across the area will take on a brand new set of problems designed especially for the centre's competition. First up, the Flashmasters event, a warm-up to the big weekend in April.
We've got loads on, we've got talks from people, we've got a bunch of climbing being set up, 60 routes, something like that. And there's the fun side of it, and the if you want to try hard and do a try hard competition, we've got that as well. So I think it'll be really fun. We've got people who usually climb at other centres. There's a couple people I can think of who literally come here for the competitions, and it's really fun, seeing them come in just for this, and they're crushers. So it's so fun.
Bouldering is climbed at lower heights, without ropes. Climbers follow the set colour routes, differing in difficulty. The physical demands make the sport ideal for competitive events that are both compelling and spectator-friendly. For those competing, it's not just about strength. Each route is a puzzle, demanding balance, problem-solving and a cool head.
There are definitely a few routes that I've missed because I didn't use my brain. And then my friend comes along, uses his head, and he gets it. So it's there is definitely a part of it that you've got to use your brain, at least a little bit.
With climbing's profile boosted by the Olympics, centres like the one in Poole are offering all levels of competition, waiting for their next star athlete to take to the wall. Olivia Pagden, Buzz News, Poole.
That's all we've got time for right now. Tune in tomorrow for your news roundup. To keep up to date with all our news, go to our website buzz.bournemouth.ac.uk.